Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is our TNA show for the week. Let's jump right in feet first. Starting off with the so-so portions of the night. Basically the stuff that's not bad or good, you just don't really care about it at all. First up, Ethan Carter III versus Bobby Lashley, which ends in a DQ when Willow, aka Jeff Hardy, attacks Ethan Carter III. Couple things here. Ethan Carter, in my opinion, is a rising star in the company, and Lashley is a returning star to the company that brings some name value. Why throw away it on a shit first match of the night and having Jeff Hardy interfere? Just my opinion. Maybe it's my dislike for the Willow character or the fact that he doesn't do anything different with the character, but to me it's just a waste of two guys that could be doing better. This could be a pay-per-view match in my opinion. Speaking of pay-per-view matches, our next so-so segment, Lady Tapa versus Gail Kim in the blow-off from their feud. Reports are this is the last time that we're going to see Tapa in TNA, which I think is a waste. We should have kept her around. After this, the split should have been the beginning of her solo career. Gail Kim picks up the win because Gail Kim is the greatest women's wrestler in TNA history. So, I mean, I understand why she won. They just should have made it so Lady Tapa could stay around and had another interesting character in their storylines for the Knockout division. And last but not least, the main event of the night, Magnus vs. Samoa Joe with Abyss and MVP on the outside. Magnus picks up the win, and here's the reason why I think it was so-so. It really wasn't that much different than the pay-per-view ending. You had guys interfering that helped Magnus win. I mean, we need to see a clean finish with these two guys. That's not going to happen in the cage. It's definitely not going to happen in a stipulation like this. Now, coming off of that, we're going to go into our bad segment of the night. And to me, there was only one segment that was truly bad. There was the Gunner promo that gets cut off by James Storm. And the reason why I disliked it is we see Gunner's father get super kicked by James Storm. I gets hit with the bottle. I'm sorry, he didn't get kicked. He got hit a couple times. To me, these kind of segments are in bad taste. You ask a non-wrestler to do a wrestling segment. You tug on this is his dad, heartstrings for everybody out there that wants to stick up for their father. To me, I just don't like these segments in wrestling. I don't think they have a place. I don't think that the Gunner James Storm feud needed more of a personal aspect. I thought they had plenty of it. To me, this is just cheap heat, and that's what it played out as. Now, next up, we have our question of the week. First, the question of the week from last week: how do you like MVP in the leader, booker, whatever role you want to call it, the president of TNA? Got some answers from our friends first. First from Silver84. MVP so far has been really good. I think heel figure in charge is tired, but a face in control is different and interesting because now you have a fair playing ground. Good points. Next is from our friend Zombies40. I think MVP has done well in his new role. Dixie would just come out and praise herself and Magnus for 20 minutes, it seemed. At least now MVP is making matches and trying to make it fair for the other wrestlers. Again, we see the word fair coming up. And last but not least, our friend Jacob Bradley 67. Your question about MVP. My God, this sucks. I'm a borderline mark for TNA, but man, the MVP investor stuff needs to go. Also, I'm fed up with boring segments. They should start having real promos and tag team matches, X Division matches, and build feuds. I lean more towards the opinion of our friend Jacob Bradley 67. I never have been able to buy an authority figure that's still a wrestler role. Especially when we all know that Dixie Carter's really the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. I mean, the whole thing to me, just do away with the character. The Authority character is not needed. It's such a crutch on booking concerns and everything of that nature, but you don't need that character. It's just a crutch. You could have an Authority character, and you could have them come out when it's necessary in a big feud that's been going on for months that they need to make a ruling on. You don't need them every week on the show. There's no reason for it. Just my opinion. I think the whole idea of the Authority character is passé at this point. We need to move on and try and get some new, fresh ideas into it. Speaking about new and fresh, our question of the week for this week, we have two new members that look like they're in the X division, or at least in the tag team division with each other now, Tigre Uno and Sonata. Who do you think is going to leave their biggest impact, no pun intended, on TNA wrestling? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, put it down where? Down there in the comments. Now we're going to get into the good segment of the show. First up, we have the beginning segment. We have the Abyss and Eric Young brawling all throughout the arena. I enjoyed this. I think this helps to build more towards their feud. It left that questionability thing where Eric Young was going to have Samoa Joe's back, but obviously he couldn't because he's been injured. Thought it was a good thing, good way to set up what would happen during the night. Unfortunately, the main event was subpar, but this was a good way to set it up. Next up, we have the Beautiful People reunion with Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. Madison Rayne reluctant to join the group. She then gets attacked later by Angelina Love. I like what they're doing with this for one reason. I believe, and this is just speculation on my part, they're going to play the Angelina acts good and innocent to Velvet, all the while she's screwing over Madison in the background, and it's eventually going to lead to Angelina screwing over Velvet as well. That's just my opinion where they're going to go with it. But I think it's cool. I like the Beautiful People. I would like to see Madison in the group. I'd be absolutely ecstatic to see Lacey Von Erich back in the group. But, you know, I enjoy them. I enjoy the dichotomy of the group. I'd like to see them back. I like seeing them back together. Next up, we have a match involving the two people in our question of the week for this week. We got the Bromans versus Sonata and Tigre Uno versus the Wolves. Very solid three-way tag team match. The heels pick up the win. The Bromans get a little bit of help from DJ Z, Zima Ion. A little bit of distraction. They pick up the quick pin. I'm digging the Bromans. I think they're getting better and better, and I think they're going to be a solid addition. I hope that they build more around this tag team division now. Rumors are that Bad Influence is not going to be on the roster very much longer. So that leaves us with two teams, the Bromans and the Wolves, and that's it. Everyone else is gone. I mean, Hernandez and Chavo aren't together anymore. Gunner and Storm are not together anymore. Sonata and Tigre Uno, that's not going to last long because Sonata's a solo champion on loan from Wrestle 1. So, hopefully they can bring a couple more tag teams in to round out the division so the Bromans have some solid competition. Speaking of competition, we got two guys that have been in steady competition over the past few years for Best Talker in TNA, and that's Bully Ray and Bobby Roode. Bully Ray gets set up being told that Dixie Carter wants to meet him at her office. He goes into the office, gets jumped by Bobby Roode, and I thought it was an excellent segment between two of the best that they have to offer. Weird to me that the two segments I enjoyed the most were two non-wrestling segments, two just brawling segments, but both are going to set up a feud that's going to go further in my opinion. Now coming off of that, we're going to go right into our ratings. Now if you've seen the show before, you know we have a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. 1's a Garrett Bischoff, 2's a Jesse Goddard, 3's a James Storm, 4's a Christopher Daniels, 5's a Bobby Roode. I give this show a 3 at James Storm, right down the middle, right middle of the road. I don't think it's anything that, nothing special. It's just this ho-hum show. Basically, TNA at its what it is. This is not great, not horrible, just there. It's going to link us hopefully to better and bigger feuds down the line. Maybe, maybe not. But it wasn't a great show, it wasn't a horrible show. Middle of the road, James Storm. But basically that's what I have to say about that. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.